Today we're going to be talking about different ways to alter the landscape to get the deer to walk where you'd like them to walk. It's not going to work every time, but it's just about upping your odds, and it'll work a lot of times. So this is the first spot we showed you on the map. This is where the two corners of timber touch. We've got a tree stand set up that's for a morning hunt. We blow the wind out across the open field here. And then we've got the redneck stand set up here more for an evening. And you could still hunt it on a morning, but that's where the picket fence buck came through. And then I'll show you some of the things we did. So we got the fence opened up right here, and I mow a trail down into the timber right there. I mow just a small trail right there to the tree stand so you can get in scent free. And then I've got the fence opened up just about 20 yards over that comes in the field. That's where the picket fence buck walked, right through there in that fence gap that I opened up. And then I did the same thing on this other side. I've got a couple different trails that I mow and try to get everything to come into this corner, which they're naturally going to do anyway because it's where the cover touches. But I just try to enhance it just to up the odds just a little bit. Sure. So all this has been TSI'd around it. In this area where my stand is, I've got a stand right here over my shoulder. We've got to get a double in that. But all this TSI, this I used to block. We're going to hunt it on a west wind, and I cut all this stuff. You can see this height, that's anywhere from shin high to thigh high, some of it. And I blocked all the downwind stuff over there, so we're trying to deter them from using that. I've got a trail mowed right here. That digits buck he's using all the time, picket fence buck both. Picked up both of their sheds right here on this hill. We blocked all that, and then the stuff that was in the way, when we TSI'd it, if we couldn't get it to fall the correct way, we'd just go in and clear it out. We just cut those trees and move them to the side, so we've got a open trail that runs, probably a quarter mile through here. It goes over this hill, and then we opened it up going over that hill, plus the mowed trail going down to the alfalfa down there. So we got a crisscross the X of really good trails right here. I anticipate this being one of the best spots this fall. It's more of a morning spot because you got to get back here in the timber, but it's going to be a good one. Looking forward to hunting this one. Well, we're back at the scene of the crime. This is the crab spot right here where I shot him out of this redneck blind. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. I've had several people ask me about the cornfields and if the shape of those is by design, and it definitely is. If you watch like the picket fence buck, that hunt where he comes up through the snow, you'll notice that corn comes about 20 feet from the redneck blind in that hunt too. And you wouldn't believe how many times maybe they're coming out from the east, they're wanting to head west. Instead of going through the corn, they'll come right down the edge of it, come around the end, and then go back and head west. It's a really good strategy. So you always want to end your corn, whatever distance you want to shoot, like your maximum distance. If you want a 25-yard shot, end your corn 25 yards from the blind. Now, I would caution you about getting it too close, because sometimes some of the older bucks and even does, they don't like to get too close to the blind. If they can keep a little distance, they'll usually skirt the edge of that corn versus walking right next to the blind. And then some of them are just fine with it. They'll walk right underneath it. So it just depends on the deer. But we've got all kinds of stuff going on in this spot. We've got the corn that would come down. And you can see this good if you watch some of our early footage, like when I was hunting with Paige here. You can see where the corn would come down. We've got the fence opened up over there. That's where the crabs buck actually walked through the fence right there where I'd opened it up. So, would have you jumped the fence had I not done that? We'll never know, but we know he walked through that gap. And then we had a small buck standing right here at this scraping post, rubbing post right there. So, everything was working. The work that we did, all of that stuff paid off eventually. The walnut trees right over there that we hunted out of, the same thing with the corn. We left it 20 yards from the tree stand right there, and we had a bunch of stuff come around the end of that. The crabs buck we were hunting never did, but there was definitely opportunities for other bucks right there. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. It's the difference between being successful a lot of times and being close but no cigar. I wanted to show you this last spot right here. This is just a bean plot that I left standing. But I came in, I guess it was around the 1st of September, and I mowed some trails through this, and then I came back with autumn quick plot and put that in. And I made them all come up to this one section right here, so it's like the spokes of a wheel. And the plan was to put a blind right here for a south wind, trying to catch this little hub right here. And I never did have a buck in here that I wanted to hunt, so I never even hunted it. So it was a lot of work for nothing, but you never know when that's going to pay off. So just the stuff you do that eventually it pays off. And maybe this year we'll have a buck in here and we'll do the same thing. So, but I just wanted to show you this real quick, and we'll wrap it up for the day. We're going to be filming tomorrow, and I appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.